God didn't forget. He's not like me. God knew everything. What that means is when it says that God remembered, heard, saw, and knew, it means he took action. He took action. Because you see, if you don't understand that, if you don't know that, you begin to believe finally the people have worn God down. I mean, they've asked him enough to where he just finally says, okay, sort of like my kids do me. Daddy, can I do this? No. Daddy, can I do this? No. About the 15th time. Baby, I want to watch the football game. Go play with the trucks in the road. I don't care. I mean, you get worn down. Well, they're not wearing God down. They're not wearing God down. God didn't say, okay. That's not what's happening here. But if you read that, you're thinking, okay, God, they prayed. And God, here's the thing. God didn't respond to their cries. They responded in cry because God was working. That's important for you to know. God is working, and he drew them to himself. And they responded to God working, not vice versa. You see, God was working the whole time. They didn't know it. 400 years they're in slavery, and they did not see the hand of God working, but he was working. He was working in Pharaoh's brutality. He was working in the Pharaoh's daughter's compassion. He was working in the courage of Pharaoh's mom and of Moses' mom and daddy. He was working when Moses was being raised and trained and educated to be a leader in Pharaoh's court. He was working when Moses was running in the wilderness for 40 years, being prepared. He's working the whole time, and they had no clue. And finally, he's at a point of deliverance, and because he's working, then they respond to God. And you need to understand that so clearly. Because when you're in a wilderness, sometimes, listen, when you're in slavery for 400 years, you're thinking, I know what God promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He promised to bless us and make us a great nation and bless the world through us. But I don't think God remembers us. We've been slaves for 400 years. Does God remember? Does he see us? Does he know what kind of shape we're in? Does God even care? Sometimes you can begin to think that, can't you? Does God remember me? Does God care what's going on in my life? I don't know. Does God and here's what we can be assured today. God sees, remembers, knows, and hears.